Our new friend Arvidus is here to help us out once more, and we're thrilled to have him. Today we're going to be talking about demos. A lot of you guys have asked questions about them, specifically, why aren't there more of them? Great question. Kind of a rough one to answer though, because the truth is, it's a direct result of consumer habits, so it's kind of our fault. Now, I would love to see more demos. One of the reasons that I think free-to-play done right could be such a boon to this industry is because I think the idea of buying a $60 game sight unseen is ludicrous. Even more so now, with rentals on the decline and video stores disappearing, you can't even grab a game for a weekend anymore to see if you like it before putting down a bunch of money on it. Heck, half the time when I ask people why they buy used games, they say, because if I don't like it, I can return it for a full refund, whereas I can't do that with new games. Maybe that's just unique to the States, but it clearly shows that there's a consumer need to know more about something as expensive as a game before buying it. But as much as I am for demos, and as much as I want to see more of them, I've got to admit, from a developer's perspective, making them makes no sense at all. And that's basically because of us. Without meaning to, we've actively disincentivized developers from creating demos. Let me explain. There are only a few possible outcomes that a demo can lead to. I've got a chart here from Jeff Zatkin and the video game metrics wizards at EDAR, which sums them up nicely. Let's go through them one by one. Outcome number 1. Your game is terrible, and your demo is lousy too. Well, your demo just showed how bad your game is, so you're definitely going to lose sales as a result of people trying the demo. Outcome number 2. Your game is terrible, your demo makes it look okay. This usually results in most people deciding to wait and see what the reviews say. Once the reviews come in and declare how bad the game is, most people will decide that they've gotten their fix from playing the demo and don't really feel inclined to pay for the privilege to play more. And as a result, that demo has lost you sales overall. Outcome number 3. Your game is terrible, but the demo makes it look pretty awesome. This is really hard to pull off. It's not like a pre-rendered trailer where you can fake the awesome. Making a bad game that plays like a great game for 30 minutes almost never happens. But if it does, it will convince some people to buy it who wouldn't have otherwise, so that demo will increase sales for sure. So for those keeping score, that's 1 positive outcome, 2 negative so far. Outcome number 4. Your game is okay, but the demo makes it look awful. Well, if the bad demo doesn't completely kill people's interest in the game right away, they're likely to lose interest by the time the game's released. End result, you've definitely lost sales. Outcome number 5. Your game is okay, the demo's alright too. Some people will still be interested enough to buy, but it's not likely to convince someone to purchase if they weren't already planning to. Most people will decide that they got their fix from the demo and just move on, leading to an overall loss in sales. Outcome number 6. Your game is okay, the demo's great. This will convince people to buy, increasing overall sales, but it also increases player expectations, which occasionally leads to a backlash once they find out that the finished product isn't nearly as good as the demo made it look. Overall, though, this result is still a net positive for the developer. So now we've got 4 negative outcomes and only 2 positive ones. Outcome number 7. Your game is excellent, but the demo makes it look awful. This absolutely kills sales. This is a big part of what happened to Spec Ops. Outcome number 8. Your game is fantastic, but the demo makes it look just, okay. Some people will still be interested in buying, but there are a sizable chunk of players out there who are only willing to spend time and money on great games. So even if your game is likely to get a Metacritic score of 85 or higher, putting a demo out there that is merely passable loses you sales in the end. And again, if your demo is just okay, plenty of people will decide that they've had their fill of the game from the demo and lose interest. And finally, outcome number 9. Your game is awesome and your demo is awesome too. Surprisingly, this outcome has shown to lead to a marginal sales increase or sometimes no noticeable increase at all. You see, games in this category often already have either a huge marketing push or fantastic word of mouth. And when everyone is saying this game is a must-play, it's gonna get more sales if you have to pay just to try it. So out of the 9 possible outcomes, only 2 of them are a strong win for the developer. And of those 2, one of them is nearly impossible to pull off. As consumers, we're always saying that we want demos, but demonstrably, sales data shows that demos almost always decrease sales. So we're the real reason that companies don't put out demos. And I know it sucks, but it's the truth. I mean, think about it. How many times have you played a demo that convinced you to buy a game that you hadn't been planning to buy already? Now, compare that to the number of times a demo convinced you not to buy a game, or made you lose interest in a game, or made you decide to wait for reviews, or the times you've finished a demo and ended up moving on to some shiny new thing rather than playing the full experience. So demos lead to decreased sales, and when you couple that with the fact that demos also cost time and money to make, they're just a losing proposition all around for developers. After all, they could just take all the money and hours they were going to invest in building a solid demo and putting it through certification and all that, and instead invest those resources in building more of the game, which is far more likely to translate into sales anyway. So I don't see an era of abundant demos in our future. Not unless we change consumer patterns on a massive scale, and I don't see that happening. This aspect of consumer behavior just makes too much sense. After all, why would you buy a game if you know it's bad, or if you've already had your fill of it without paying and are ready to move on? So I think that the old age of demos is dead, but that's alright. I think we'll see solutions to this problem as we evolve new ways to play. If we look at tablet and mobile games, we're already seeing these solutions cropping up. We're seeing a pay-as-you-go model where you can either buy the whole game, or buy a level of the game and decide at the end if you want to buy the next one. We're seeing games offset the cost of having a demo by including some small amount of advertising or cross-promotion for the company's other games inside the demo. We're seeing free-to-play microtransaction games and episodic games where the first episode is free. We're seeing a host of methods to make it practical and easy to get your hands on a game before buying it at full price. So while I don't think we'll ever see a time where every game has a demo, we will see that underlying need, that desire to try before you buy, fulfilled by savvy companies as the industry evolves. So things will turn out alright, one way or another. See you guys next week.